So we danced again. I just love it. I just love it. So it's really something else to start like this. So I'm happy that we do that and shake loose, literally, out of our old ideas about ourselves, out of the identification and all that, the misidentification. And so I'm taking this thing off too. So today, another class in the series of the return of the heretic. And I'm really happy that you're here and that you want to be part of this by listening to it or by being present in this class. It's really great. I love that because it's there's always so much to discover together in reading this, in putting everything in a perspective that it becomes reasonable and that it becomes like a real experience for yourself. That's what I love about doing this in the way we come together. And so today, Eros or Thanatos, that is the third chapter of the book, The Return of the Heretic. And for those of you who just listened to this class for the first time, it is like, Master Teacher. I was with Master Teacher. I have a personal recognition with him. I was with him until he passed on in 2008, and it is an incredible how he came back into my life just like a month ago or so. Really feeling that I'm being tapped on my shoulder. It's like, oh, wait a minute, it's about time. We're gonna use this now. We're gonna implement this in the teaching too. So the ideas of Master Teacher and of A Course in Miracles are involved in this and are coming to expression through the readings that we do, through standing still with what is occurring in the transformation, and how are we continuing on this path. What is it that is the actual thing that makes me wake up out of this dream? What do I need to do for that? And is that the same as what I'm doing right now? Or is there something that I really got to be aware of in this moment to say speed up that transformation? And so Master Teacher uses this neither Thanatos nor Eros. So he uses this, I just explained the title a little bit. It has to do with the idea of, okay, Eros is then the idea of enjoying life to the fullest, taking everything that you can to enjoy yourself as a human being. And Thanatos is more like the serious side of it. It's like how does this all make sense, and why is there such a thing as death, and what sense does it make to live a human life and die in the end? So these are a bit like the polarities that are being exposed by the title. And so we're going to use that. You will see that in the text. We have also a fairy tale coming up with Snowy White. You probably read that in the book, if you have the book. Because the book, it looks like this. It's the Heretic. You see it mirrored probably. The Return of the Heretic. It's a small booklet, it's not too expensive, and you can easily read it. And so we use this book. For me, it is like, oh, I'm so happy to share this part of myself because I was so involved with Master Teacher, and now he's coming back to me in a whole different way because my mind has been like totally changed. So it is very exciting for me to read from this, to teach from this, just because literally to discover what has changed and how much more is possible. That's really lovely. So coming from that place in myself, I love to at least make an attempt to share this, to give this to you, the way that I received that for myself too, in listening to it and being busy with it, having it with me, like in the last couple of weeks, having it with me again on a daily basis. It's literally right next to my pillow, so to speak. And I listen to the talks of Master Teacher. You can find those on YouTube. You're familiar with this. So we just get started with the class now. So this is the third class that we did and that we're doing. There are 4 more to go after this, and that will almost cover the book. But in the book, there's so much more. So I'm totally aware that I only share like an inch of it instead of like the mile that's been given. And so read it over and over and over again, because there's so much in it, and what is being presented will help you to awaken and help you to come into the direct experience of communication and resurrection. So today we use that too. The idea of resurrection will come back to us. And so let's just get started, and let's just open the book and read some. Okay, so it starts here. Great stuff, huh? Nice stuff. We teach here, in truth, that everything is only our perception or your perception of it. If you are confused, you will cause confusion. I assure you that you caused the death of 10,000 people last night because you conceived of death. What you do is refuse to accept responsibility for it and go outside and blame somebody else. Inevitably, you have to blame someone. You say, I don't know. Somewhere underneath, you are blaming somebody because you are not willing to accept the responsibility for yourself, are you? And as soon as you won't accept it for yourself, by nature, you must blame somebody else. But you did it. You did it. You cut that grandma's throat last night. Now you're going to go outside yourself, catch your own projection and put it to death because it killed somebody else. Haha. You are allowing your own projections to attack you. Wow. So this is quite an introduction into this chapter. He's talking about taking full responsibility. Like if you don't take full responsibility for what is occurring, then you're actually going to project it somewhere out there because you think there's something happening out there that has nothing to do with you. And you want to, tie that to your brother and attack him in that way. So taking full responsibility, I don't want to make it sound heavy, but it's total. It is the only way for you to come to a different experience of yourself. Because what happens if you put everything outside yourself is also that you think that there is something outside yourself, which is not the truth about you. Like there is nothing outside your consciousness. You know this from Joel Goldsmith too. It's like there's nothing outside your consciousness. There's nothing else going on there. So you can play that in your own little dream bubble that you think that you don't have to take responsibility for what is occurring. But it is the other way around. So by admitting that you're the cause of it, you found the source literally of what you're actually seeing. It doesn't mean that it's great or fantastic or terrible or whatever. Like you don't have to connect names or labels to it, but at the same time, it is like you want to take responsibility in order for yourself to admit, like, yes, I'm responsible for this. This is crazy what is happening, and I want to literally give it over. I don't want to do this any longer. I'm so sick and tired of my own ideas. I don't want to do that. Because, see, what we're actually up to in this chapter and in all the texts of Master Teacher is this idea. It's not just an idea, it's actually a reality of you. Like there's no gray area in which a little bit of this and a little bit of that can occur. No, I know that you're here in this class because you want the full package. Like you want absolutely a totally different experience of yourself. That is why you are here. That's why you signed up for this class, or that's why you watch this video. You know deep in your heart that is your heart's desire. That is the only thing that you want. It is just that you don't know how to get to that. You don't know what the consequences of that wish is. And this will come back in this chapter too. So I'm just continuing expressing myself in that sense. So it's like by you cannot believe that by you giving this up, this way of dealing with your projections, so to speak, by giving that up, that will give you a deep new experience of yourself. You don't believe that can happen. That's why you postpone it by thinking like, well, this meditation really didn't work, or this didn't work, or maybe I should try that, or, well, let's consider that one more time. See, and in the same time, you stay on the surface. You don't really dive in deeply. But now, since you come into this new continuum where you cannot stand that anymore, you have the possibility to have that complete different experience of yourself. And that doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice something, but it does mean that you have to make a choice in what it is that you want. And are you willing to go beyond your own fears? Are you willing to leave those for what they are too? And are you willing to take full responsibility for your projections, for your perception? Not by making that real, but by accepting that as coming from you and not from anyone else. So that finally the fight against yourself can be over. The fight against your brother, but actually that you start to see that all of this is you, that there is nothing else but that. So knowing that, so I really go fast now, knowing that, it is like you have an opportunity to give everything to this dream. You give it light, you give it love, you give it patience if necessary. You give it everything that you can possibly can, because you know you're the source of that. And what will that do? Well, imagine that you have been, accusing the ones around you for the longest time. Suddenly you stop doing that. Suddenly you come into the recognition like, oh my God, it starts here. It is all me. So now, from this day on, I make the decision not to attack my brother anymore, but to become patient, not reactive, not responsive, but to be patient and to see that there's an opportunity for me to see it for what it is, to give it love, to give it something instead of projecting it out or taking something from it because you think you have a need. No, so the recognition that you give is actually your own confirmation that you know that you have. Otherwise, you would not be giving it. And also, so that's the second thing that's connected to it, and that is you can only give to yourself. If there's nothing outside yourself, you only give to yourself. So there's no need for you to be afraid to give. Only if you think that there's someone outside of you, you are careful in giving because you don't know what the other guy is going to do with what you give. You have some bad experiences in the past and you want to bring those in your backpack. So Master Teacher is basically expressing that in his first chapter. And he always has a bit of a raw way of saying things, like you cut the throat of your mother. Or so that's just his way of expressing it. And so everyone has his own vocabulary in that sense. He makes it very clear that, yes, you are responsible also for the things that are not so nice, that are terrible, that is a great disaster, just because you still hold ideas about death in your mind. So that being said, I'm going to start reading again a little bit from the book. But see, I want to keep this line that we were on for a moment. I want to keep that with me, because like the idea of coming to the place where you actually make the transition into a whole different experience of yourself is the reason why we're here, and is the reason why we want more, why you feel like unsatisfied if it would just be some kind of little training or some moments of bliss maybe. No, you want the fullness of this. And that is also a totally all-inclusive change of your experience of yourself. But like I said, there are consequences connected to it that you, up till this moment, didn't accept for yourself. And if you would have accepted them, you wouldn't even be here, is what Master Teacher says. It's like you wouldn't even be here, because if you see this place and if you see your function proper in this place, you would not be here. You would have no reason to stay here. And that sounds maybe very dramatic, as if you're going to leave Earth on a little rocket and waving the last guys out like that. But that is just an image of it, and that's not what it is. So imagine that there's a transition to be made into your totality by just recognizing your perfection on a continuing basis. Like there is only perfection, and you know it. You have that reference in yourself. You have that reference in your mind too. You're always looking for perfection. If something is not perfect, you will say something about it, because you have that like as a core idea in your whole constitution. Okay, I'm going to read some, because it's also fun for me to read this and for you to hear it hopefully too. So that's where we are going. Okay, so, oh my goodness sake, my brother, thank you. We teach in energy, in light and truth. Let it occur. Come on. We teach communication through identification. I teach in truth that you are me, O brother. One of these days it will occur to you that you say to yourself, like, why am I defending myself? Why is it that I've got to walk around defending myself all the time? You'll get the idea. I positively guarantee you of that, brother. It will occur to you, of course. You really think that there's something outside of you that can harm you. That's absurd. It can't be true. So, not to miss anything, like in the first lines, oh my goodness sake, my brother, thank you. We teach in energy, in light and truth. Let it occur. Come on, we teach communication through identification. I teach in truth that you are me. So, teaching communication through identification is exactly, again, pointing at this identification part. Like, where are you identifying with? Are you still trying to control all of your occurrences with your idea about yourself? Or are you allowing a new communication to come to you that will control you, that will literally take over from you? Are you willing to get into that now? So this is essential too, to take with you when we continue this. Coming at it in a little different way, we teach that there is a process that the human race, that you, as established, are going through to bring about the transformation of your perception. And in no other way you will arrive at the truth. Since there's no truth on earth, it cannot be arrived here. You are literally seeking and attempt not to find. Because you are incapable of looking in and seeing that you are the cause of it to begin with. I teach that you are God. and which is the fundamental philosophia perennis, which is the ancient wisdom. And if you are not, there is none. I teach that you are God, and if you are not, that there is none. And that is as truthful as I can say it. You can turn down your face and attack me for saying it. You may choose to deny your own value, but remember this: all evil is only limitation. Okay? You are only evil by self-perception or an inability to see that you are all-powerful. Wow. So I teach that in your innocence and surrender is your invulnerability. I teach that in your innocence and surrender is your invulnerability. Do you mean to tell me that the poor in spirit find God? Who do you think do? Do you really think that you can participate in this illusion and win? See, that's another great question. This is so much about self-honesty. It's incredible. So there's so many aspects of self-honesty in this. Are you willing to admit that you actually have been seeking for a place in this world, in this dream, so to speak, where you could be the winner of it, that you could be successful in the ways that you were doing? You're always looking for this one door out of the misery that you're actually in, knowing that there's a place where you can win, and thinking that it has to do with your daily life, or thinking that it has to do with your human life. We all do that. We all thought that, up to the point that you start to see oh my God, look at me, look at what I'm doing. Honestly, I was really looking for that. I was looking for a way out in this world, but also connected to this world, and thinking that there would be a place for me to lay my head and to be at peace. So, and basically, Master Teacher is saying that's not going to happen, because that's not the place where that happens. You will never find that here. See, and then I know that I go really fast in that sense. Knowing that there really is no place like that here means that you don't have to look for it anymore here. See, and that goes pretty far. It will be all of your ideas about where your solution are. It will be all your ideas about what you think is giving you a good life, or where you think you are comfortable. So you will have to give up those ideas. You will have to give up your trust in that. And that is a real fundamental change in your whole system. It is not just getting new ideas in your mind or trying something else to make your life better. No, this is absolutely has nothing to do with improvement. So that's why the title is so perfect, Thanatos or Eros. Whether you're going to really enjoy this life, or the other side, that you really want to make sense out of this life, makes no difference. The outcome is still the same. There is nothing that you actually are that you will find here, except the only idea is basically that you say oh, it's not here. No, it's not. It's not what I thought it was. No, it's not that either. No, I will never find it there. And not this time, not becoming depressed out of that, but knowing that that is a real fundamental admission that you will have to make in order for you to get out of this dream, to get out of your ideas about yourself that are always a limitation. You have no unlimited ideas. No, everything is limited, and it's always connected to ideas of time or misidentification. So that's why they never can win, why they never can work. So the only good thing then that can come out of your journey here is that you come to the point where you admit, okay, this got to stop. I'm looking for a solution here. I keep doing that, and I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm giving that idea up about myself. See, and that is a very intimate process. It's your personal process of transformation. And you can sink as deep in it as you want. And you can adjust your own life still with ideas about, okay, so that means that I have to do this and this and this. So you can even have ideas about your transformation, how that's supposed to look and what you're supposed to do. And none of that will work either. So this is like you start to take your hands off of the control. You start to take your hands off. It's like, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not in charge here. I really want to let go of all the ideas that I thought would be helpful for me or would really make me a better me. So all of this is still connected to the idea that perfection, like your perfection is already guaranteed. That's taken care of. It's none of your business. So yeah, that's very interesting. So let's continue. So I teach that in your innocence and surrender is your invulnerability. Do you mean to tell me that the poor in spirit find God? Do you think so? Do you really think that you can participate in this illusion and win? All fundamental teachings will tell you to detach from it, that it is not real. It is your persistence in participating in it that keeps you here. Period. That's too simple. You mean to tell me that if I decided that none of this is true, I would not have to be here? Yes. You would be where you wanted to be. You would have absolutely total power of all consciousness in the universe. And there's no such thing as that. And since you are in consciousness, it must be so. So let's try that again. You mean to tell me that if I decided that none of this is true, I would not have to be here? Yes. You would be where you wanted to be. You have absolutely total power of all consciousness in the universe. Or there's no such thing as that. And since you are in consciousness, it must be so. See, I like the way Master Teacher teaches this because he still keeps the possibility open that it could not be so. So it puts you on the edge of your seat. It's like, well, what is he telling now? Is it true? Is it really so or not? And that's exactly the kind of curiosity that is going to be helpful to you to discover it for yourself, how far you dare to go, Okay, so here regarding the world, that's page 42, down at the bottom, the last paragraph. Yeah, that. Don't participate in the world. There's no value in it. You are giving value to it. There is none. No value, nothing. At what point are you going to value something here? At what point are you going to say to me, I know that's true, but I have to make a living? And he says the word camel dung, like that's bull dung, camel dung. There's no value here. If you judge it falsely. That's scary, huh? No one accepts that. Okay, so that's a good point to stop again. So basically it's the same theme, sinking a little deeper in it. And actually one of my favorite points in the transformation, looking at how you participate with this world and really thinking that you have a function here, that you have something to take care of. Like if you think that, then you will see that. That is the strength of your perception. Like if you think that, it will be represented in the world that you see. Like anything is going to be projected in that. So also this idea. But as you know better now, you come to the place where you actually admit, like, there's no reason for me to be here, is there? Show me that. Show me what that means. If there's no reason for me to be here, I might as well give up being here or trying to do my best to take care of this and that. Why would I want to do that? So, and this is a fundamental, pivotal point in your transformation. And you can stay there for a while, because it's quite something to feel that you can actually cross over literally into a different experience of yourself. But you have been going up against that wall for some time. You know it is there, you know there's something else, but you bump up against the same wall of self-defense, or thinking that there's still something to do here for you, thinking that I would love to do this and that, and I would love to have this relationship, and I would love to do these activities, and I still hold on to this. It's real valuable to me. And, these are just very normal responses to the pressure that you actually feel of the release that is possible for you to see, no, it has no value. No, I can let go of this. I would lose nothing. No, I would gain everything if I did so. Then I would see this place for what it is and see it disappear. So, like I said, it's a pivotal point in your transformation that you actually come up to. So it's quite something. It is quite something, because you can only make that decision for yourself. You can only admit that by yourself, by seeing, yes, now actually I come to the point where I cannot really validate anything here anymore. I see no value. I don't want to see value in things anymore here. I want to let go of that idea. I want to let go of all of that in order for me to come into a whole different experience of myself. One that will bring me closer to, like, in the middle of my true existence, my true being. Not being limited anymore with ideas of sickness and pain and death, but coming in the fullness of living, in which I discovered that I'm literally all of this in a way that I could never have imagined. So we teach this by energy, by light. Is what Master Teacher says. And this is really what is occurring. So you can feel during the dance, but also during the silent meditation that we did. It's like you feel love energy being stirred up in you. I call it love energy, but light being stirred up in you. Suddenly you feel like, wow, that's amazing. You feel something opening up. And actually you start to receive something in your system, in your whole idea about yourself. So that is exactly what is occurring and what will do it for you. It's like you don't have to go through all these changes yourself in terms of that they're all started by you. No, you open yourself up for light, for this beautiful light, and you actually see that the light is doing that work for you. And you can just be gentle with yourself in that sense, and step back out of the control that you didn't have anyway. But coming to a deeper realization of your perfection and admitting that and staying with that and enjoying that and allowing that to manifest itself, because you're the only one keeping yourself from it. So you might as well give that to yourself. So skipping through the chapter. The time is flying, so that's why I keep going at it. You are only here only because of self-identification. And that's okay, but why not be joyous about it? What is it that causes unhappiness? If you come to know that is true and treat it gradually and go out and love and be happy, that's okay. I know people that have adjusted to death very well, apparently. Everyone has to on earth eventually. Either you look at it or you don't look at it. Either you got Eros or Thanatos. Either you do everything that you can to protect yourself from it, or you go out and play the libertine and say, the hell with it, I'm going to enjoy myself. Either way, and that's amazing, either way, you have acknowledged death. And it's not true, and you are not true. You do. You go into a cell and hide that and pray to God, and you're still acknowledging death. You go out and live it up and do everything you are going to do. You're saying, I say you can't. I say you are a good creator. I say you made all this up. Are you happy with that? With what you made up outside of you there? Are you content with causing 10,000 people to starve to death last night? Does that make you feel good? Or are you going to not accept responsibility for it? That is the highest truth I can teach right now. I'm at the crux of what you can't accept. But you will, because you will come to know that it is true. Wow, that's great. So that's quite something to hear and to let that affect you. So let's take some time to breathe and to go through that. Like, oh my God, it's amazing what is being presented here. Like, that's actually really mind-boggling to think that no matter what you choose here on earth, whether you think it's a good way to live or not, is only going to bring you the same result. So another way of saying is like one thing that you validate here and you acknowledge death. See, that's quite extreme in the way that I put it, but it is that clear. It is that like that whole. It's that absolute in that sense. There's not a little bit of this, like, okay, I can do this 50%, but then 50% you want to make a deal with God in that. It's like, no, I'm not going to accept the whole truth, but just parts of it. I'm able to do parts of it. And then you wonder why it's not working, why you don't come into a full revelation of what actually is occurring to yourself. So yeah, this is the invitation. This is the offering in this teaching, in this class, continuously, like in every video that you will see or hear, listen to from Master Teacher. It will be the same offering. Like, no, there's no exception. It's all or nothing at all. It's like you either go into this or you're not doing this at all. There's no in-between kind of thing. And what that exactly means, you will discover, because like Master Teacher says too, it's like you cannot get this in any other way than by transformation, by going through this process step by step, not missing any points, any admissions, any self-honesty. You cannot miss any of that, because you will have to come to a total honesty yourself in order to have your true identity revealed to you. See, and that sounds like something happening to you and that you're still the same, but then having an experience of the totality of you. See, and that's not what it is either. So it's like, that's why it's great that we dance and that we feel our bodies too. Like, no, this is a transformational process. So it's like about expansion of your consciousness, but also your energy is expanding. So you become more sensitive to everything that's occurring. And also you become more excited about the little changes that take place or the big changes that take place in you, and that you actually start to feel, oh my God, something is changing and I have nothing to do with it, but I'm so happy that this is occurring. So you start to trust the process more and more and not being too concerned about it, because that's not going to do anything for you anyway. But see, that it all has to do with the trust that you put into this, that you see that there's no reason to be afraid of the change that is going to occur or that is occurring. The realization of you as a totality. Okay, so now we go to the idea of relationships. So he was just singing a song. See what we did? That's what love is. What did I do? I gave myself to you. One of the great discoveries you made in your awakening process is that you finally only give to yourself. I am you, dummy. If I give you everything, I win. If I take it in any fashion and attempt to hang on to it, you lose. Of course. What are you hanging on to? You already have everything. Huh? You see? That can be practiced. I just did. That's beautiful. Now we're both free, aren't we? Isn't that astonishing? I love you totally and we're free. Love is not possession. Love is not hanging on. Love is not mutual false identification. No, love on earth is hate. You really think that you can love something and hate something else? That is ridiculous. What kind of love is that? To acknowledge that there is something that is superior and inferior to you is absurd. And it's impossible. So one of the great discoveries you make in your awakening process is that you finally only give to yourself. See, and it becomes a joyous thing. And it's also, you can practice it, is what our master teacher says. Like, you can practice this. And one of the easiest way to practice it is to start saying thank you to everything that's occurring. So no matter what somebody's telling you, you can still say thank you. And to start practicing that has a big impact on how you experience yourself. So it's literally, okay, I want to give. No matter what comes to me, I take that in because I take responsibility for what my perception is and not seeing it as something that is attacking me from outside, recognizing that there is no outside. So taking that in, taking responsibility for it and thanking it. Giving it love, like extending it from yourself, and see that changes everything. So that's an easy way to get that, to do that. So the other thing is to completely love without any reason, without any, wish to receive something back for that. Just to completely unconditionally give. So the side effect of that is that actually you become free. You actually come into an experience of freedom. And so you can practice that right now. So just say, for starters, like, I really love you. I totally love you. I totally love you. I absolutely, totally love you. Absolutely. I would do anything. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you so much. Wow. I love you. I love you. Like I said, that is doing something. I'm giving that to myself and receive the way I give. Immediate response. So that's one of the other things that is occurring in your transformation. You suddenly discover that there basically is not even a cause and an effect. Since it is all one, there is also no distinction between cause and effect. That is your godliness in expression. Like it's not that, okay, now God is sending me a message and it's coming through me to go out. No, I'm in the direct extension of that because there is no God and me. No, I am God. I'm the direct expression of that. Cause and effect are indistinguishable. You cannot see one part and the other part. So that's really great. So that's also in the giving. Like you immediately receive what you give to yourself. Immediately. So that's another nice project, nice scientific project on yourself. Just experiment with that and see how quickly that goes. That is completely going out of hand and you lose control. Oh my God. Well, you got nothing to lose because that's only you. So now you really go for it. You go for it. You give more and more and more. And suddenly you see this whole world disappear. Is that possible? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely possible. Did you just experience that in your love experience? Like in your I love you experiment? See, this is how direct and practical it is. It's like, no, this is not about beautiful ideas. No, this is the direct expression of the love that you are and accepting that for yourself. Not waiting till someone is showing you that. No, you want a direct experience of that. Nothing is keeping you from it but yourself. This is what you want. This is what you have been looking for. Well, you got it. You got it. It is here. It arrived. It's like a package. Like use your Amazon package. Your totality has arrived. It's all inclusive. You can just be yourself and give to yourself. That's the only instruction. So don't ask anything in return because we don't do returns. It is just immediately given. It is complete and whole. It's given. At the same time, it's received. So now that's fast shopping, isn't it? That's really fast shopping. That works. No returns. Oh my God, that's a relief in itself. I don't have to send my package back. No, I can keep it. That's so great. Thank you. So, wow. So did this whole package have to come from somewhere? No. So it's very, if you see it like that, I keep on going in this analogy. It's like it is very CO2 friendly too. It doesn't have a footprint at all. You know, it's like that's great. Thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you. That's so sweet. So was that a holy instant? Yes, it was. Yeah, absolutely. That was a holy instant. Yeah, now you got a demonstration of it. So you can do this everywhere, no matter where you are. You can just stay with this and not holding on to it. No, giving it away in order to keep it. You give this away in order to keep it. It will be given, you receive. It will be given, you receive. You give to yourself and it will be received. Okay, so here's the Humpty Dumpty Grumpty Maybe it's time for some fairy tale. So this is about Snowy White and the seven dwarfs. That's Grunty. That's do the names of the dwarfs. Well, there was Dopey, wasn't there? Yes. Okay, then you know. Sure, they signify whatever you want. Here's Mary Joe or Happy, or we used to call you, or Happy as we used to call you. Yes, they signify everything. But you'll notice that happy can be sad and dopey can be bright, and that grumpy can be happy, and that Doc can be everything. He is the intellectual one. Hello, who said that? Isn't that amazing? They have all the qualities in them to be anything, right? Where do they work? They work in the mine, okay? They are working with the lead, making it gold. Very esoteric. Who is Snowy White? She is you, asleep. But you are not really dead, are you? The poisoned apple is in your throat. Okay, got it. Come on, of course. Will the prince come along and give you a kiss and wake you up? I guarantee you he will. Yes, of course. And then all seven energy patterns. You are all going to be singing. Hi ho, it's off to work we go. Isn't that amazing? Everything that you do is a paradigm of what you don't want to acknowledge. It's impossible for you to do anything that is not symbolic of your awakening. That is the astonishing thing to discover, isn't it? That's on page 46, sorry. This is an astonishing thing to discover, isn't it? You know it. Everywhere you look, it's symbolic of this one single truth. Of course it is. What else would it be? Is there something separate from that single truth? I am conveying to you the highest level that it is possible to convey in this universe. I am attempting to convey it. It is not expressible in duality, so I'm energizing you to the truth. So yeah, the symbolic part of your transformation or your awakening, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? So you probably have your personal experiences with that too. I certainly do. Like I was so into symbolic say patterns and see the one line in all cultures and all of that. I tried to discover all of that until I found that when I start to draw that I actually do the same thing. I come up with the same signs. And well, that was at that point very meaningful to me. And yeah, now it disappeared again. Oh, well, it comes into my memory right now, but it actually disappeared again. So what Master Teacher says in this part of the book is pretty obvious. It's like everything is symbolic for the truth. Everything that's happening in your dream is still like indirectly related to truth. It will actually be an expression of that because all of it is connected to it. Like there's no exception to that at all. So you see that in science, you can see that in music, you can see that in poetry and all of that too. See, then basically you see through the script, you see through the form and actually discover the patterns that are underneath. And seeing that there's one universal song, literally a universe that's being shared with you, coming into different expressions, like in different forms, coming it back to you, where you can actually receive it for yourself and recognize it. But it will come to you in a certain way. So check this out in the coming couple of days. Like there might be something coming to you that you haven't seen for a while and suddenly reminds you of this fact that everything is connected to truth. You know, that can be in just experiences that you have during the day with people that you meet, but also in arts or in the books that you read or in the movies that you watch. It really doesn't matter. So it's beautiful to see that oh my God, it's basically, you know this, but basically everything is on the way home. You know, it's everything that you pick up along the road to go home. So you can linger for a while, you can still hang out, or you can still take a detour if you feel like it. But you know that this is the red thread through all of it, bringing you exactly where you never left. Okay, see if there's more to share. Something. Okay, so here's something. It's like if I looked at you and said the transfiguration and resurrection are physical, okay? And you would say, yeah, I know that's true. I read it in the Bible. Not what I'm saying. That's reductionism versus my total recognition that you must bring about the awakening within the channel of you. So this is page 47. And it can't be done in any other way. Really, what we are saying is you can only do it through transformation, and you can have the incredible dilemma that you can't transform. And you have the incredible dilemma that you can't transform yourself. If you could, you would not be here. So the transfiguration and resurrection are physical. See, and then you say, like, yes, I read it in the Bible. And then Master says, like, well, that's reductionism. I'm talking about a total recognition of that. Like, not only talking about it, I'm actually expressing that in this instant. So this is, of course, with all the teachings, no matter who the teacher is. It's like you come to the conflict inside yourself by reading the book and thinking, like, well, yeah, I think I know what he means, because I read it in other books too. And then it's like, well, you just missed that, because that's not what this is about. So this is about the direct expression of it and the direct experience of it. And that makes it like an invitation for you to have that experience. Not that you want to plaster it with concept that you've read everywhere. Wow. Okay, so I think I have to let go of this now. It's really great to sit with you and to listen to this, to be doing this together, by really diving deeply into it and coming to the essence of it, or having an experience together of, like, yeah, indeed, oh my God, I can't believe this. So it's your individual recognition of that, but you can feel it when we get into this insight, like a real gift is given to us in this moment that we meet together. And that's what I love about this class. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm really appreciating that you have listened to this or watched this, or that you participate in this class. Thank you so much for your presence, and hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.